This morning I'm at the furthest point of my trip along northern Spain at what is an absolutely epic location. Behind me there are huge rollers coming in off the Atlantic, and the waves are being hit by an offshore breeze, an offshore wind actually, which is lifting the tops off them and creating this amazing spray.
Hi there, and welcome to the fourth and final episode of my Spanish road trip. In this episode I'll be visiting lots of stunning coastal locations, and do stick around to the end for a forest that looks straight out of a Tim Burton movie.
And then around behind me here I have a sea arch. And in the other direction,
As I started to make my way back towards Bilbao, I couldn't resist a second visit to this amazing beach. This image is straight from the camera. Other than cropping, I didn't have to do anything with it at all.
this is the entrance to Playa de Cuevo del Mar, which my guesstimate is correct, is probably the beach of the sea caves. What a way to enter in. 2.5 metre high tunnel, so a van won't fit through. But the beach is just around the corner here.
You'd almost expect to see Johnny Depp in his Jack Sparrow persona here. Like Pirates Cove, if ever there was one. If you'd like to see how I combine these three images together, have a look at my focus stacking and time blending tutorial in the tutorials playlist. to return to this beach where the tide was too high. This time I was able to come down on my trusty bike. The next few images show the benefit of exposing for the highlights to retain detail in the sky. It's always possible to bring detail up from the shadows, particularly on newer cameras that have great dynamic range. But if your sky is gone, it's gone. This was as close as I dared to get to the edge of this cliff, but while I was there, two guys came along and one of them went right out onto the very narrowest part of it. I think out of some sort of sense of bravado, but he looked absolutely terrified as he was turning around. Ambitious here, trying to do long exposures in quite windy conditions. What I've decided to do is just try 1 minute, 30 second, 15 second with different filters on, just try and get that lovely golden light at the end of the day on the rocks and sea stacks below me. Just as the gates were closing. Some of you may recognise this place as one of the locations from Game of Thrones. It was Dragonstone, without the little temple on the top and a castle instead. I was jinxed here. I tried 3 times to get down to the bottom for the photograph, but conditions conspired against me every single time. I'll just have to go back. As I was driving up here, I was thinking, I hope I don't meet something coming the other way. Asking for trouble. The last full day of my trip. I'm in the Gorbea National Park. It's about an hour south of Bilbao. Really, really bright sunny conditions and not ideal for photography. But I'm going to see what I can come up with, and maybe it'll just be a reconnaissance visit for a future trip. Who knows? It's nice. It's just great to be here and to enjoy being in nature. And if I get a few shots, well, that's going to be a bonus.
Last night I was doing a little bit of research in the van and I decided I wanted to do something different. I've been doing seascapes for most of the last 2 weeks and I found this place on Location Scout. It's called the Enchanted Forest and it really lives up to its name. If I move around, you can see behind me all these amazing gnarly old trees. It would be an epic location on a foggy morning, and it's definitely one that I'm going to bookmark for future trips next time I come back to northern Spain. Just thought I'd do a little bit of a walk through of this incredible location. Hoping I can do it without tripping myself up on all the rocks. While I'm waiting for the light to soften a little bit, I've decided to try and shoot something with my infrared converted camera. It's a Fuji X-E1 that I bought second hand just for the purposes of getting it converted to shoot infrared. And I'm using it with a 14mm lens, partly because I just love the perspective the lens produces, the equivalent of 21mm on a full frame camera. So you get this tremendous depth with it, but also it doesn't create hotspots. In infrared photography, a lot of lenses won't work with a converted camera. They just produce these smudges of bright patches on the sensor, on the photograph, and it just makes them unusable. It's very difficult to remove it afterwards. This area has a slightly eerie, creepy feeling to it, almost like something out of The Lord of the Rings or something. And this really adds to the atmosphere. Here is a composition that starts with the roots of the tree and the rock in the foreground, and pan up, you can see that the branches of the tree closest to me and the one in the middle distance form a sort of diamond shape